Welcome to Did Nothing Wrong Live. I'm Griff Sombke. With me tonight are Jay McKenzie and Robert Silverman. Guys, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Right on.
Thank
Right.
you.
It's really late. Griff made us do this late, so we're
Well,
tired.
running on Antifa time out here, I think, out here on the.
Yeah, for some reason, Griff is existing on a completely different time schedule. None of us understand it. It's 10 o'clock. It is
Just
10 o'clock.
Move to Florida like everyone else, Griff.
Right. Come
No.
on.
No,
All right.
no. You can't make me. I like the Pacific Northwest. Thank you. I think I'm going to stay here for a while. This is home.
Fine.
What are we gonna talk? We're gonna talk about CNN and the dumpster fire that is that network, or the terrible, terrible canceled people of New York who are the thought criminals.
People.
You've been hit by a thought criminal. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun.
I just any article that refers to Barry Weiss as a journalist is already stretching credulity.
You know what America is dying to learn about? What a bunch of dorks in New York do for fun.
Oh yes.
That deserves front page coverage in the prestigious New Yorker magazine for many thousands of words. They're dying to know, what are rich dorks up to? Please tell us.
Well, they said in the article that they don't want to be famous, and then as they're quoting in this New Yorker article,
and the way not to be famous is not to talk to the New Yorker, but hey, you didn't hear from me. Seriously. So let's talk a little about CNN. They've had kind of a rough week. Newsmax is apparently bragging now that they've beaten them two straight. Newsmax. Sit with
God. You got dunked on by Eric Bowling. Come on.
That's a
former Pittsburgh Pirates farmhand Eric Bowling, by the way, just beat you. No. Yeah, he was a light hitting middle infielder in the Pittsburgh Pirates system.
Oh man,
did not know that. Huh?
How far did he make it? How far did he make it?
I think low A ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's respectable.
Still, that's a professional athlete there.
Better than I hit.
Yeah.
Stopped playing baseball when I was 9, so I guess not much I can add there. Sorry.
Good on him. But now he's running a very successful network, and they're actually beating CNN in the ratings sometimes. So I mean, wow, people land on their feet sometimes. This is pretty amazing. You think it has to do with maybe the current shift that CNN has experienced in their editorial tone and content choices?
It's just amazing that all of these leaks about the town hall with Trump and Chris Licht is so happy about the ratings, and we got this huge ratings bump, and you got a bunch of people hate watching you. You got a bunch of people who really thought this was a train wreck and they tuned in, and then afterwards they stopped completely because you're the problem. And apparently I don't know what bubble these people live in where this did not seem. How did he not see it coming?
Was America's cable TV watching population really crying out for Diet Fox? Is that who actually thinks that? I mean, I don't think Fox thinks that. No. I don't think nobody believes that. And it's all the work of, I have no reporting to this, but based on things I read on the internet, it's John Malone, the Discovery bigwig, who for some reason seems absolutely convinced that reporting with the tone of the Financial Times but stupider and on TV is what the market is crying out for.
They aren't thinking this one through. I mean, this is an audience that's been programmed to hate them for the last 10 years.
Oh, they despise them. I mean, that's a topic in and of itself. I am, and I remain utterly baffled of all the targets, of all the varying facets and small kingdoms and tiny fiefdoms within the Lugan press. Why did CNN become their bête noire? Why are they the big bad here?
That's a great
And
question.
to me, it's because prior to 2015, they were just, that's the network that you turned to when you wanted to see the bombs first, to me, at least.
Yeah.
They would have, like, when the bombs are being dropped, usually by Americans, that's the place that you would turn to first to see the photos of the bombs and the video of the bombs. Which I'm putting it very glibly, but yes, they had, reporters hither and yonder, but they were the war network to me. And that's not to denigrate the quality of CNN's, like 1990s and into the 2000s reporting from those people who were reporting from war zones. Far from it, but that to me was the perception of it. They were, if American jingoism and militarism was actively taking place in a way that the U.S. government wanted it to be celebrated, CNN was going to be there to have pictures for everybody.
Right.
Why they have become so reviled? I mean, the simple answer is because the world's #1 CNN watcher, Donald Trump, hated them more than anything, and so that's why the entire MAGA right started hating them. But like when Rush Limbaugh was screaming about the evil liberal press, or when Glenn Beck was, I mean, CNN was still very much in that, war TV phase. So
Right.
to me, it's and yeah, they did lean into the sort of Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, screamy 8 to 9 p.m. commentary stuff, but Olbermann was doing far more specific and honestly better vitriol throughout the 2000s. And Maddow and Hayes and all those people, I mean, they were doing a better job of being the hashtag resistance network for a long time. It's still, I feel like there's a better answer than just because Trump, but it might just be as simple as that.
I mean, I feel like it started before Trump, and Trump definitely piggybacked it. And then I feel like there must have been competing factions within CNN that, well, this whole Trump thing, it's good for the ratings, and let's see where it goes.
They broadcast Trump rallies 24/7 throughout 2015 and 2016. There were segments where Trump was late arriving, so they would show the podium and just the collection of the everyone decked out in their MAGA regalia. They would broadcast that and sort of intone commentary while waiting for him to show up.
Well, I mean, is it because CNN was the closest thing to real news you're going to get on TV, and these people just made it their mission to tear down real news? I don't know how deliberate
I don't
that
think
was.
so. I don't think so. I mean, look, cable as a form, it is cable TV is not a forum to do real reporting. I mean, it really or rarely is. I mean, this is not to slight Chris Hayes or even Maddow, who, by the middle of 2017, 2018 was really deep into her Lenny Bruce, I'm just going to read court transcripts, but about Russia phase. Like the end, like late period Lenny Bruce, when he was just reading about his own obscenity trials and not doing any jokes anymore.
Very meta kind of performance.
Yeah,
that part.
Right.
Yeah.
It's what the audience wanted.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's just you may be right about that. It may just be, I mean, real news, I think, might be the wrong way to phrase it, but it's the notion of, because it was the war network, that's where the real news is. And now if the war network is saying our spiritual avatar is bad, that's what we're going to be mad at. I guess it could be that.
Yeah. Well, in any case, the future over there is not bright. I saw that Caitlin Collins got the 8 p.m. or the 9 p.m. slot. They're adding her to that, but I don't know how many people are really excited to tune in.
No.
And yeah,
we were talking about this beforehand. I mean, there was a story today in the Wall Street Journal about how ESPN is very clearly has concrete plans in motion to leave cable bundle and goes to a full-on subscription service in the near future. And ESPN used to bring in, I think it was 100 million annually from cable bundle fees. As recently as like 2013, 2014, maybe they were getting 100 million a year.
Now it's not, evidently.
No, they're down to like I think they've fallen off. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I'm just pulling them out of my tuchus. It's down to 60 million or something like that. But eventually all that money is going to go away. All those eyeballs are going to go away. Like CNN is they're fighting against the tides.
Right.
So is Fox. I mean,
yeah, it's hard to imagine a world where they don't exist as they do now, because they've just been there as long as at least as long as I've paid attention to the news.
Yeah. See, I remember when CNN started, and it was this whole revolutionary thing where you were just going to get news the whole time, just news, nothing else. It was great.
Yep.
Phenomenal. And it was always on a loop. You couldn't get enough real news. You would go about every half hour or so, you'd watch headline news, and it would just be the same thing over and over. But still, it was like you said, the place where you go to watch the bombs drop, or the space shuttle blow up, or the president get shot, or any number of other things that you saw, and you were just like, wow, okay, this is where we're having it now. This is
yeah. I think my first memory really of the news was Desert Storm and the bombs dropping, and I hadn't really thought about it in a long time. But yeah, that was CNN.
Sure was.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where that goes in the future. But right now, it's not looking terribly good for those guys. They're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place when it comes to the ratings. And when you're losing to Newsmax, really, something's got to get changed. They're just.
Well, I mean, what like let's folks, it's time for some game theory. What exactly? I mean, pretty much everyone agrees that they're that their tack to the center, which is really a tack to the right, is not working. The sort of the raw data bears that out. Right. I'm not sure what the path forward to profitability for them is. I mean, I don't think you can have. I don't think the form there is no form for a TV program that I can think of right now, and perhaps I'm just not smart or creative enough to think of it. But they're not gonna become the Antifa channel and flank MSNBC from the left. Fox has a built-in diehard audience. They can't compete with them on the right. There is no center. There is the audience for that doesn't exist. Where do you go? Is no high ground to or there is no there's no turf that they could stake out for cable.
Any center that's left is full of people who don't watch TV for news. Right. So, I mean, they may not watch TV at all, but they definitely don't get their news from TV. They're going to read it somewhere.
Right. I mean, MSNBC and Fox, they're for news. They're for hardcore politics and news junkies who want to watch TV to get mad at it because it makes them feel bad, for the same reason that people like the three of us maybe are logged on to various microblogging platforms all day, or reading articles all day. We're doing because it makes us well-informed, responsible citizens, but also very mad.
Got to stay motivated.
Don't put in the papers that I was mad.
Right. Yeah. So, if you wanted to pivot, what would you do? I mean, I really don't know what the answer is. And so all of these guys in quarter zip fleeces, huddling around over, take out just salad orders. I understand they couldn't come up with a better idea, because I'm just not sure one exists.
Yeah. Well, and
now that place is gone. That time is gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they're gone within a few years, the way this is going. I don't think there's going to be a shakeout.
And well, even the people on the right that are happy with CNN now placating Trump supporters and John Durham. Well, yeah, he
Jake freaking Tapper, shut the hell up.
Exactly.
Shut your
But
He
that's
wants
not
to
bringing
get
in viewers. That's getting you one viewer. That's getting you Tim Pool's research guy or whoever it is going on there, finding the clip,
Yeah,
adding
you
the clip,
tweeted
putting it
about
in the
this.
show.
You tweeted about this,
Yes,
that every single person I saw your post,
everyone.
like
Yeah.
all of your favorite far right chuds were grabbing that and saying, "See, even respected journalist Jake Tapper agrees with us."
And they still hate you. They
And they
still hate
still
you
they
so much.
hate you, Take Japper. They hate you.
You weren't
They are
respected.
using you like a sock puppet.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations. The remainder of your integrity is being gobbled up by gremlins in order to make their dumb arguments.
And a guy like Anderson Cooper, who's doing the same thing, who went on there and, oh, well, this town hall was very important. Whatever he said, who cares? He's wrong. It's
Yes,
stupid.
that you can't be ensconced in a bubble where you can pretend these people don't exist. He said while ensconced in a bubble, doing a monologue where no one could criticize him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe it could be the Irony Channel. That's a choice.
How much do you need that TV show, Anderson? Do you really believe the things that
He's
you're saying?
got Vanderbilt money. He doesn't need a
Exactly.
single second of it.
No.
Exactly.
He could go off and buy a private island or something. He'd be fine. Guy's loaded. Absolutely.
But if he's not
he could get drunk on New Year's Eve with Kathy Griffin on his own dime, man. Come on.
Seriously. Why are you still out there? Why do you need this? But
yeah.
you know, some people like to keep their jobs. Some people know that they're not really going to be relevant 5 minutes after they step off the air. And
Oh,
Buy
yeah.
a
Well, that's Chris
survival
Cuomo.
bunker in New Zealand, man. Come on. Did we all do the reading this week, ladies and gentlemen? Did we do the reading? Did we do the hate reading? Did any of all of us get our hate read in?
Oh,
No, just me again. I read it multiple times for both of us.
there's a lot to hate here. There's definitely
have you gotten invited to these
No. No. Look, when I go hang out with reporter friends, we go to bars and watch basketball games. That's what we do. We try not to discuss work too much. I mean, we do in a like when let me take you a little inside the game here, folks.
Ooh.
Little peek behind the curtain. Okay. When us vile, repugnant, coddled Brooklyn elitist media types, he said Glenn Greenwald-ly, get together and hang out.
He said from Brooklyn. Wait,
he said
what?
from Brooklyn, yes. When we hang out, at least in the parties that I'm invited to, I'm sure there are far cooler parties, so I'm not speaking, not all Brooklyn media, hashtag not all Brooklyn media, but at least in the parties that I get invited to and in the social gatherings, which I am privy to, we generally hang out to go to like absolutely mid basic sports bars where there aren't too many people so we can watch a basketball game. On the weekends when we do it, we go to places where either I or other of the reporters can bring their dog, and we do not engage in the discourse or anything like that. If we talk about work at all, it's just gossip. All we do is gossip. We gossip about who is really an incompetent dickhead and who is hooking up with who, and occasionally, you know, like, oh, maybe there's a job available or stuff like that. It's just gossip about that. It's gossip like it is any other workplace when people in the same industry are together. We do not have Antifa super soldiers anywhere in our field of vision. We are not plotting. We are not debating. We are not doing any of this. It's just normal people in the same industry. And it's like a sewing circle, man. It's just dish, 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 dish. That's it. Honest engine. But a writer for the New Yorker learned about a secret gathering. Amongst the let's say, the landed gentry of Manhattan in various wealthy parts of New York City, were people who, for one reason or another, decided that they're canceled, like to hang out. And what do they talk about? Mainly the fact that they're canceled, it seems, which is the most boring and exhausting thing, because none of these people would be nearly as famous were it not for the fact that they were could not shut up about the fact that people like me don't like them, which I guess is a kind of gossip, but it's not really gossip because it's pretty public.
Yeah,
the best part, and it's like, oh gosh, and oh, we have this one person who was credibly accused of sexual assault, and aren't we daring for having this person there? And here's a professor who said some racist things and got called on it by his college and suffered no repercussions whatsoever, with his wife, who is 30 years younger than him and used to be a student, and was the subject of her own separate New York Times article about the fact that they're canceled. Every single one of we get one of these stories like clockwork.
They really gloss over that fact that
5 years. Ugh. This is not untrod upon territory. This is. I have had updates from my fantasy football league that have trod fresher ground than this. And I'm pretty sure that's generated by an AI bot at this point. The best part, I'm not mad. The best part about, don't put in the newspaper that I got mad. The best part about all of this is that there's one line at the top of this, which is that they went on a cruise that was funded by a benefactor also. And I'm like, where was your editor to say, that's the story? Who is the benefactor, the unnamed benefactor, which you didn't even, I guess you might have asked about, but didn't even bother to get a denial into print, who is paying for your cruise and why?
Seems
relevant. That's
seems
would
relevant.
Have been interesting instead of all of their sort of like, instead of thousands of words of these people huffing their own farts.
Yeah.
I've done enough psychedelics that I could forgive Hitler, she told me.
Great line. Great gets, yeah, sure. Great line. And in between, there's all these sort of coy, knowing winks about like, see, because I'm just printing what they said exactly. Just proves that like, I don't think this is good either. But
no.
Just
and these poor one person in the article who vacations and I think she may have put snowy Aspen, Colorado, as if it's like, oh, this little unheard of little hamlet that anyone can visit for $500,000 a week or whatever.
This Siskin, like Siskind. There was a whole thing about this woman, Sarah Siskind. And for a second, I thought it was Amy Siskind. And I was like, oh, yeah. Amy Siskind's gotten run over the coals for like, because she was one of the Pumas back in 2008. Party Unity, my ass, who were very angry when Hillary lost to Obama. And everyone was saying like, okay, she lost. We all need to, rally around the flag now. We got to win this thing. And they were like, no, we don't want to, which is fine, honestly. If you feel like you're not being represented by a candidate in an election, you don't want to be a part of it. That's democracy, folks. But they instead decided to once again engage in more fart huffing and give their little refusal to participate in the democratic process a goddamn acronym. So in any case, Amy Siskind, but it's not Amy Siskind. I had to check. It's Sarah Siskind, this woman who wrote a bad op-ed while she was at Harvard about how she thinks diversity is bad. And you know what? There are a lot of people who have criticisms of diversity from across the color spectrum and across the political spectrum as well. There was one freaking Jezebel article, that they gave it a good fisking. They did. It was mean. And rightly so, because it was a bad thing someone wrote when they were an undergrad. And if you want to say, you shouldn't rake a dumb college kid for writing something dumb over the coals, okay. But it was like 2012 era Jezebel, and that's what they do, man. Walk it off.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow that blog became her whole identity. And now she's like writing jokes for Neil deGrasse Tyson, which I'm sure pays very well. But boy, lady, you might want to get some new material, because I wouldn't put that up. I don't know if Neil deGrasse Tyson's, oh God, just social media copy for Neil deGrasse Tyson. That wouldn't be at the top of my resume, but I bet, again, I bet it's a very wonderful paying job.
I've seen the posts too. They're not
They're
great.
not good. They're bad posts. He's a bad poster.
He's a bad one.
And the fact that he needs someone to write them for him is just delightful.
You paid to have someone.
You paid.
Yeah.
You paid to have someone write your bad posts. Okay.
Wow.
In any case, and yes, all of these people are like, vaguely connected in one way or another to Barry Weiss and her inevitable, like Barry Weiss, who has turned her cancellation into one of the more profitable media careers around these days. Also, she can pay her sister and her fellow travelers to just produce one blog a day, and it's crap. So congratulations, you did it. You won. That's the thing that the thing that drives me enough about this is not just that oh my God, this article has been written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten for the umpteenth time. That's not what makes me mad. The thing that makes me mad is that you guys won. You won.
Mm-hmm.
You all won. You did it. And none of them are happy because somewhere and again, I'm going to refer to you to my evil cabal of Brooklyn media types. You know that there are people, many of whom are very loud online, who don't like you, and you will never let that go. Now, granted, I get it. Holding on to a grudge about the people who don't like you, in fact, is what made you so successful to begin with. So you really can't give up the ghost at this point. But please, you won. You did it. Just go live your lives. The fact that they're having parties and even for a millisecond talking about any of all this just shows what pathetic, losers they all are, and that I'm right to hate them. And that's the real takeaway here, is that I'm right.
Yeah.
This
Bangs gavel, end of rant.
But they don't seem to have any identity outside of this.
No, if they didn't think that that they might get roasted on the next Chapo Trap House, they wouldn't be able to live with themselves.
Yeah. This is just the article that celebrates itself to a large extent here.
Oh my God. And it did result in a good old school Twitter ratio. So that was a nice callback. We got to get one of those for a while, and it made everyone
spine over there. That's nice.
Yeah. Everyone got mad at this person. All the bien pensant, should we say French? Bien pensant. How do we do it? I don't know. The right thinking people got mad about it, and then we all kept rolling merrily along. It made me mad because as this podcast often discusses, bad things are happening. Bad things. Like they say in the movie Dolomite, bad things are happening, Bob. Things that could affect an entire generation.
Mm-hmm.
But these people are cheering it on, and they think it's justified because
these people will be fine. These people will be entirely fine. But I'm just there is this there, and at the same time, look, there's a story that came out the same day that did not get the thing that sort of makes me feel stupidly complicit for getting mad, because I should have just looked at it, rolled my eyes, and never give it a second thought. That was the right response. That's obviously, as you can tell, that is not the response that I had, but that would have been the right response. There's an article by Kim Kelly and Mother Jones that came out the same day that didn't get nearly as much attention because it didn't make nearly as many people mad, and it was about coal miners in Appalachia still coming down with bad cases of black lung disease at age 40. And the efforts that are doing to help, and what's being done to help those people, and the things that are not being done to help those people. That's the thing that people should get mad about. The fact that people are still, that coal mine, that it's not just,
But that's just a story that doesn't even make the news anymore. Not really.
Right. No.
That's where we're at. It's not good enough content.
Right. It's not a Jacob Rees photograph. This stuff is really still happening. Or wrong photographer. Who's the photographer who always took the pictures of the coal miners? Come on. It's Come on, black and white photographs of coal miners.
I've seen this, right?
Yeah, it's not Adams.
Ansel Adams, no.
No, or Dorothea Lange.
Could be.
If you're in the chat, please help Bob in his failing memory about who took the iconic photos of the coal miners. Anyway, it's not. It's
It's
still happening. Like,
Yeah.
and the amazing thing is, like, the reason that they're coming down with, like, at younger and younger ages with black lung disease is because we've tapped all the veins of readily available coal, and we have to go now deeper and deeper and deeper into the mountains, and it's kicking up materials that the human body is not meant to inhale, that are not even the actual coal. It's other stuff getting into your lungs and causing, fibrous materials and, like, glass structures to form. And it's a great, well-reported article. Please go read it and get mad about it or something, but just read it at a bare minimum. And I'm like, that's where I would like to think that all of us, regardless of the political, no matter how, like, I'd like to think a QAnon person could read that and say, this is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's written by a labor activist, so I guess maybe that means no. But I would think, like, this should cross the political divide.
Well, maybe we just have to figure out how to tell them it's Joe Biden's fault without them actually being able to do anything to Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's Joe Brandon's fault, man. Absolutely. It is Joe Brandon's fault. He should have if he had come out with an actual Green New Deal and figured out ways, like, when he was the vice president, to institute a massive, like, actual green energy program, then maybe these guys could have figured out jobs that had nothing to do with coal mining anymore, because it still pays better. It is Joe Brandon's fault. Mm-hmm. I'm 100% serious about that. And, like, let me tell you, these guys in Appalachia mining coal, they voted for Trump, odds are. So there. Can you get mad about it now? Okay, I'm sorry. I've been talking for many minutes straight.
No, it's a problem, and it's going to continue to be a problem, but so much of this stuff, this, like, culture war bullshit, just eats up all of the atmosphere, eats up all of the oxygen in our lives, that we run out of time and energy to be upset about the stuff that matters a whole lot more than a bunch of jerk-offs in Brooklyn getting together with how canceled they all are.
No, they're in Manhattan. They're in Manhattan.
Right,
please.
Yeah.
Come on.
My apologies.
Come on.
Know your borough, sir. Yeah. Well, it's why we're on day, what is it, day 58 of the
48. I saw the post too.
Oh, 48. Day 40. Yeah. Day 48 of, oh my God, Dylan Mulvaney did a Budweiser. I don't even know if it was a commercial. It was one post.
No, it was one Instagram post.
It was one Instagram post of Dylan Mulvaney. And we're still talking about it because, again, it cost them $0. They don't. This is Ted Cruz will go on Fox News every day and talk about this until he's dead, because it cost him $0. It costs his donors $0, and it sucks all the oxygen out of the room. So good luck. I mean, good luck beating it. And honestly, to me, you look at things like deplatforming, you look at taking ad revenue and essentially pushing advertisers to stop monetizing the worst content on the internet. And all of that is helpful. And I think the way we need to be going, I really think we also have to get to a point when Republicans just get absolutely battered at the polls. It's not that Democrats are perfect. It's not that they don't have their issues. But at a certain point, I feel like, I don't know that a supermajority is ever going to happen again in this country. Mm-hmm. But maybe if they get beaten up and lose enough times, maybe something will change. But I don't see another way short of revolution.
No. And it's just going to get more and more agitated in the meantime, more and more, like, just the culture war probably won't ever go hot, but oh man, it's getting a lot warmer out there. It really is.
I was talking about this. I was talking to my wife about this. Just it feels to me like the general population, just when I exist out in the world, it just feels like people are a lot more on edge than they
They
used to
are.
be. It
They are.
feels, yeah, it feel like mundane everyday task, or you bump into someone accidentally. It feels like everyone is ready to fight. Everyone is ready to, is this my moment? Is somebody going to pull out a camera? Are we about to, have it out right here? It just, and it, I, maybe you forget, or maybe your perception changes, but I don't remember it being like this 10 or 15 years ago.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Like the frogs are definitely quite boiled in the pot by now. It's very, very boiled. We're hardly feeling the change because it's been incremental, but man, you look back and it was not. It wasn't. Not in 2013.
Good. I'm glad I'm not crazy, or at least not crazy about that. I got one thing.
Well, thank you guys for coming on tonight. I know it's been a late night for you guys, so thank you for putting up with Antifa time for the day. Appreciate
Mhm.
it very much. And we will see you all again next week.
Sounds good.